Today's episode of the Energy Newsbeat podcast is brought to you by Enverus. The energy industry faces massive challenges every day, and the events over the last 2 years have caused huge disruptions like never before. Companies in the energy industry need actionable intelligence and a single source of truth that brings all the data together. Enverus is the energy specialized technology partner that provides intelligent connections for a global energy ecosystem. Only Enverus has the analytics, people, experience, and industry scope to connect the right data and information in the right way to discover missed opportunities and deliver fast outcomes. Find out more at Enverus.com. That's ENVERUS.com.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Today is one of my favorite days, and it is my time with Irina Slav. My name's Stu Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. Welcome to the Energy News Beat, and I get my monthly stand-up with Irina Slav. She is in Bulgaria this morning, and you got a sweater on there, Irina. I mean, that sweater's nice looking.
Yeah, I've got two actually, Stu, because winter is just around the corner, and we need to keep warm in this weather. I could dispense advice on surviving winter without too much discomfort. I mean, I've been doing it every winter for years now.
You got to keep I got to hand it to Bulgaria getting that new pipeline. That new pipeline is pretty cool. I mean, that's a lot of natural gas. How much gas does that pump into Bulgaria?
I think the original volume was 1 billion cubic meters annually, which is a third of our annual total consumption of gas. But the reason I laughed is because it's so behind schedule. and I think, the previous government really promised to do something about it, to finish it, and they kept lying that it's almost done for months. But it took a caretaker government to apparently get angry enough and really put its foot down and finish with everything that needed to be finished. That I couldn't believe we actually did it, but we did, yeah.
Government, there's a good thing for regulations, and there's an extremely bad thing when they overregulate. And you think that they would have in the US, we have the commercial for Office Depot, and they have a big easy button. When you want to make things easy, you go, pow, hit the easy button. We need to have an easy politician go, pow, hit the button and let them go away. What do you think? I'm not a politician fan.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but it'll never happen. And we both know this. What are politicians going to do if we have this easy button?
I'll tell you, Irina, COP27 is just driving me nuts. It is. You have your humor show, your comedy show, and what is it called?
It's Slav's Energy Stand-Up.
You have material, comedians usually look for politicians for their material. And I've been watching yours, and you got so much material, you do not even have to write anything.
Oh, no, I don't have to look for it at all.
What are some of your highlights highlights from COP27? What are you hearing that are really mind-numbing?
Well, I think I summarized most of it in the last episode, if I could even call it the last rant, rather. Well, my favorite is, as always, the Secretary General of the United Nations. But I think Ursula von der Leyen also gave a very strong performance this year, managing to tie up the war in the Ukraine with the energy transition. It's a war for the future of the whole world. She really, really bundled things up in such a way, so if you try to understand what she's saying, you'd have a really serious trouble. Maybe she has trouble understanding it as well. I don't know. It's complicated.
Well, it can't be any more complicated than the United States electing one of our senators, Fetterman. Have you seen his dress code?
Oh, forget the dress code. I watched a few short videos with him answering reporter questions like fracking. Somebody confronted him by saying that you said a few years ago that you're against fracking, against shale oil, and the pause that man took before saying he's not against fracking. I mean, have you no sense of shame at all? Really,
and he's wearing hoodies and basketball shorts, and he's ruined it for me because I love wearing a hoodie and a basketball short. Yeah, and I can't go around looking like I imitate him, and he would make a perfect running mate for President Biden. I mean, wouldn't that be fun? You got to go.
It would be fun, but
you can't buy this kind of entertainment for stupidity. I'm like,
no, you can't. Yeah. But it's great we're getting it for free. I mean, the dose is getting a little bit excessive lately, right. But at least it's free.
Well, how's the politics in Bulgaria? And when we talk about politics, it can't get any lower. I mean, it can't get any more entertaining than the US, can it?
Well, I think the European Union is pretty entertaining as well. I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, we'll need a photo finish when all this is over. But they're doing pretty well. I mean, they can't settle on a gas price cap. Even Germany can't decide on its own so-called gas price breaks. The brake mechanism supposed to shield households and businesses from excessive prices. In the last couple of weeks, I haven't really been following Bulgarian politics because I'll only get angry because they're not doing anything right now. It's going to be a difficult winter, even with the new interconnecting pipeline. And I think nobody wants to take responsibility for whatever happens. So we still don't have a government.
I'm sorry.
No, we'll probably be voting again in March or something like this. So
wow.
Yeah, it's a sitcom. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I mean, when you sit back and kind of go, you and your daughter and your husband created a T-shirt, and you shot me a picture. How many have you printed up? Because those are great.
I haven't actually. He has to finalize the design, and I'll send you the design so you can print out your own. I'm printing out one for myself, and my daughter wants one.
Right. Well, send me the design, because you and I've always taught sanctions don't work.
Yeah, not as intended. I don't know if you remember, there was a comment under one of my stand-ups from a German gentleman who tried to argue that sanctions actually do work, and I agreed with him. They do work. They just don't work as intended. And then he, turned on his heel and went because he didn't agree. I mean, sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but clearly sanctions don't work as advertised anywhere in the world if you look at it.
The bottom line is that I have a saying, and that is, they always mess you over in the drive-through. So when you're getting your drive-through food, they always give you the wrong thing. So I always say people get it in the drive-through. Well, they don't get it. So it's like, if it's bad, they always get you in the drive-through. And I think the politicians are getting everybody in the drive-through. So it's like,
yeah, it is kind of like that. Yeah.
Yes. Do you get all your orders messed up in the drive-through?
I don't buy things as a drive-through. I mean, there are only a few drive-throughs like KFC and McDonald's on the highway.
Ooh, I don't need those.
Yeah, well, neither do I. And it's a very typical American thing, but it's not so popular here. Here we like to go out to a pub or a restaurant and spend a few hours there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I drinking mostly, but also eating. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I prefer either not eating and I'm too fat, but I'd rather ride.
Not.
Oh yeah. The camera's got this filter on it, the non-fat.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, as we take a look at the fallout of COP27, the United States just released last week in celebration of COP27 a whole new declaration of war against oil and gas and coal. And I'm like, guys, we got to get to renewables. I don't care what we use. I don't care if we use renewables. I don't care if we use nuclear. Let's use the cheapest power we can get to get over here. Let's keep people warm. And they're about as dumb as I can see. Irina, what do you do when you're President Biden and you ask India to break ties with Russia? And then you turn around and then you tell India, Prime Minister of India just told COP27, we're going to ban all fossil fuels. And I'm like, and then Biden right after that gave permission to India to buy Russian under the cap. My head exploded within.
But it wasn't Biden, it was Janet Yellen. Let's be accurate. It wasn't him personally.
Oh, well, what an idiot. He agreed with it.
I really don't know what to say. I mean, all these statements are so contradictory, self-contradictory, and they don't seem to care about it. Neither Biden nor any of his secretaries or other officials, and they just try to pretend as if they didn't say what they said just a day earlier. Like the most recent example, Biden saying to US oil companies, produce more oil, and a day later, literally a day later, saying at some event, we promise no more drilling, so there will be no more drilling. and now, but my favorite, just what was it, yesterday? I can't remember, just recently, one of these days, that because if India decides to comply with the G7 price cap on Russian oil, it won't be able to buy as much, if any, and the US stands ready to help with, guess what, with oil from the strategic petroleum reserves too. Imagine that. We'll be exporting, they say, we'll be exporting SPR oil to India to replace Russian oil. And just when you think they have reached rock bottom, you discover there is no rock bottom. Yeah.
Okay. I talked to somebody yesterday, and they're in Washington. And just when you thought we hit stupid, okay, the question, what question did I ask you with the great Armando and the great David and the wondrous Irena on your show, the International Energy Transition? I asked a fun question, and it was, what would happen if the US banned fossil fuel or banned exports? And David's response was,
yeah. David answered that pretty, succinctly.
Oh yeah, prices are going to go up through the roof, and prices are going to go up through the roof for the world. We're in a global market for energy.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't buy this kind of stupid. But guess what? They're now floating it around again, and it's going back around that they're really pushing forward to ban
an export ban.
Yeah, there's a reason I was asking that.
So on the one hand, the Biden administration says we'll help India by exporting more oil to India. And at the same time, they're considering banning oil exports. So how exactly is this going to work purely practically? I know it's a rhetorical question. But...
Oh, it is. But here's the thing. If they ban, and one question or one part of David's comment yesterday, and we'll have in the show notes how to listen to your and Armando's every Monday's show. And you're available on Substack. So we got to get everybody, downloading off of Substack and all that. If the US bans oil from being shipped out, and natural gas and LNG and everything else, guess what happens to the US Northeast? They have to import their energy from Russia, Trinidad, Italy, and when they import it from Italy, it's actually coming from Russia. So, I'm sitting here kind of going, they're going to really mess up the pricing, and they're already going to have blackouts, brownouts. They're going to have everything in the Northeast because they have to import because of what we have is called the Jones Act. They can't ship from, the Gulf right up around the corner. And then the knuckleheads won't put in a pipeline from the Marcellus to they're 300 miles away.
Help me understand this Jones Act. As far as I understand, it's about non-US flagged vessels being banned from moving from US port to US port.
Yep.
So this means there are not enough US flagged vessels that can carry oil or LNG from the Gulf Coast to the Northeast.
There are, yes.
And the government doesn't want to do anything about it.
Nope. And here's some really weird things. I did an interview with a guy from the Cato Institute, and they wrote a lot of white papers on it. They're smarter than I am. And it was brought in the 1920s, and there are no LNG carriers under a U.S. flag.
I'm sorry.
You can't buy this kind of stupid. I'm serious. There are none. There are, I believe, 400 usable tankers in the fleet and they are so expensive to operate and maintain that it's cheaper to bring it in from the world market. That's how expensive they are. So they're just one step below a rowboat. So you put a can of oil in it and you row it around the corner. I mean, this is about, there is a wartime exclusion, and Biden won't kick it in.
Yeah, because he only says we're at war when it suits him.
Well, he just declared COVID is now a real thing again. And we're like,
again?
Yeah. I'm like, you can't. I'm serious. I could not even create my own comedy show. You funny. Me, I'm over here kind of going, I'm crying now.
With laughter, I'm sure. That's you know how the monkeypox story didn't really work out as intended, so they have to fall back on COVID.
Oh, I wonder what they're going to come up with next. Hyena or, baboon,
Well, maybe wait for a little bit until we start forgetting what they did with monkeypox and COVID. I mean, now there's a stink going up in the air around COVID. Ms. von der Leyen is being investigated for her deal with Pfizer by European prosecutors. Yeah, that's she should probably step up the rhetoric further on the whole transition and war transition thing.
This is our last piece, and we got to get running for the day, and you got to go. You're almost done with your day.
Well, it's early afternoon.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. The U.S. is printing money. We're just, printing money, and then we're giving it to Ukraine. But we had somebody over in Ukraine saying they're not seeing results of all of this, and the Ukraine leaders are buying all these nice homes, and then is it FTX went bankrupt, the financial crypto money, and then the biggest donor to the Democrat Party was the head guy at FTX. He's now missing, and so it's bankrupt. Billions upon billions are missing, and the Democrats have had it now done. So there is a monetary trail from the Bidens printing U.S. money, taxpayer money, giving it to the Ukrainians. The Ukrainians are not getting all that money to the people. I'm all for supporting Ukraine, but let's do it properly.
Ukrainian people, I expect, as am I.
I love the the Iraqi folks, and I love the Iranian people. People don't matter. It's the governments that are terrible.
Exactly.
And then you go from there, and then you go to this guy. He had a back door, Irina, into his crypto and was funneling money out. And he gave George Soros was the only one that gave more than him.
Oh, wow, that's impressive, really.
Oh yeah, and so
you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Nothing.
If it was a Republican administration, if it was Trump, imagine the noise. Yeah, but it's not going to happen.
One of the proudest days of my life was one of our monthly stand-ups, and we got flagged by the UN for talking about climate change.
No.
Yes, that was one of my proudest moments. I was like, Irina and I got flagged by the UN for talking bad about climate.
Oh, you should have told me. That's really.
Yeah. I'll see if I can go find
flattering. That's flattering.
It is. Suddenly I'm, breaking my arm, patting myself on the back. This is a great day. If I can offend the UN, my day's been made. I'll go get you a screenshot.
We should do it more often. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyway, well, Irina, what's up for you this next week? What kind of stories you writing this next week?
I shudder to think what the G20 meeting will produce, because it will produce a lot of things. I'm sure they won't disappoint.
Anyway, I'm so glad about your energy comedy stand-up, your energy transition with Armando and David Blackmon, and all your writing at oilprice.com. If you didn't do that, all of that, I wouldn't have any material for me to write. And so I do appreciate you letting me steal all your material.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Steal away.
But all your research is so fabulous. We'll have all your contact information
Thank you.
So thank you. Hey, have a great one, and we'll see you next month.
You too, Stu. Have a great day. See you next month.